Yeah, this is pretty tough to release this podcast. This last week on February 7th, I got a text message that my good friend and fellow houndsman, Larry Anderson, passed. Larry was one of those guys that really made an impact on my life, and it's a sad deal that he passed so young. It was unexpected. And I just want to pay tribute to my friend, Larry Anderson, and no telling blue ticks. He lived in Gibbonsville, Idaho, originally from the Flathead Valley of Montana. He's a professional guide and built a pack of blue tick hounds that were no doubt the real deal. In fact, last year at the APA Breed Days in Greenville, Tennessee, some guys were talking and they were asking if I had ever seen blue ticks that could perform on bear and lions. And without hesitation, I said, I know where there's a pack. And they were Larry's. I spent hours and days with these dogs and with Larry in the Rocky Mountains catching bears and blue ticks. And I think it's just fitting that a guy that dedicated so much of his life and his time and his passions, that we pay tribute to him. Larry wasn't just a friend of mine. We worked together in the Flathead Valley and got into the construction business together there for a summer. And I lived with him and his family for about 2.5 months. His wife, Jamie, and her parents. It was a great time. We've logged thousands of miles on the road together. And I just feel like we need to pay some tribute to a good friend of mine and celebrate Larry's life. This is a podcast that he and I recorded on an actual bear hunt. It's live action. It's right from the front seat of the truck while we were hunting. And it was originally released a couple years ago, but I just want to put it out there again. Larry's one of those guys that I think he probably had more best friends than anybody I know. He was just that kind of guy. We met through Gary Robertson of Carnivore TV. I'd sent a message to Gary and asked him about who had some blue ticks that were really turning the crank on big game. And Gary just immediately referred me to Larry, and I dropped him a message. I found him on Facebook, dropped him a message, and before you know it, we've got a hunt scheduled. Never meeting each other now, mind you. We had a hunt scheduled in Condon, Montana. I can't remember, 3 years, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I can't remember how long ago it was now, but our plan was to meet at a cabin and hunt from this cabin in Condon, Montana. Our wives both bailed and said, no way, I am not going. We have no idea who you're meeting here. But Larry and I met up, and man, I'm telling you what, from there the magic started. And it was just a bond between Larry and I that has been pretty unique in my life. I could pick up the phone and say, hey, you want to chase bears in Arizona? And I would drive 20 hours that way, and he would drive 17 hours from where he was at, and we'd meet up in Arizona and chase bears. No questions asked. It was just an opportunity. And I just saw Larry a couple weeks ago. I called him and said, hey, I've got some seats available at the American Bear Foundation. He drove through a blizzard, or at least treacherous winter road conditions. I'm not going to say a blizzard. That's over dramatizing it. But he did drive through treacherous road conditions to get to Cody and to spend some time with me. I got to see him a couple weeks ago. It was a great time. We went through the Buffalo Bill Museum there in Cody and attended the banquet together and drank some Yellow Bellies, as he calls them. Yellow Bellies, Coors Banquet beers together. And the deal with Larry is like you didn't have to take care of that relationship every day. You know, there wasn't any drama. We could go a month or so without talking, and we just pick up like we always did. And if you didn't listen to this podcast the first time it was released, I hope you'll take some time and listen to this one. This one's for you, Larry. Until we meet again, buddy. We'll keep them in the woods down here. Keep them tuned up. You scout that hunting ground on the other side for us. And I'm not carrying a bunch of bait from that damn jawbreaker that you thought you got a good deal on. We'll see you on the other side. In this episode of the Houndsman XP podcast, we are taking you to the mountains of Idaho. We are going to put you in the truck with us as we cruise the mountain roads, hoping for a rig strike or to find that bear track. We are black bear hunting springtime in the Idaho mountains, and I've got with me an epic houndsman, Larry Anderson, and we are going to talk about his no-tell-em blue ticks. As you listen to Larry's story, there will be no mistaking his passion for hounds and hound hunting and living the houndsman lifestyle. Larry absolutely demonstrates extreme performance in hounds, and that's what makes him such a great fit for the Houndsman XP podcast. But Larry's become a very good friend of mine, and you're going to get an opportunity to ride along with us and just listen to those conversations that happen as we drive around and listen, look and listen for that rig strike. So you're going to really enjoy this. It's real time. It's going to be, there's a lot of surprises in this one. So I want you to sit back and enjoy this conversation that we're going to have.
Well,
yep, you're going to get a little bit of feedback in it just because the connections are bouncing around a little bit. I'm not sure. And I think our Garmin's interfere a little bit and gives us that little bit of that little beep, blip.
oh yeah, I can hear that little zzz, zzz.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're like flying the space shuttle through Idaho right now.
A little zippity doo-dah.
Got the headsets on.
We're not too far from the snow, so hopefully we can cut a track.
I don't know what that little blip is. I don't know what that is.
You think it's from the GPS outfit? I can move it maybe.
Well, I don't know, but it ought to keep people awake. You know, or drive people nuts.
Yeah, like what in the tarnations are them guys doing out there?
That's right. So we're cruising through a place in Idaho that we're not going to talk about where we're at because we don't want to see every other hound dogger here. We're all about people coming out and hunting and supporting hound dogging and all that stuff, but they need to find someplace else to do it, right?
No tell 'em Ridge.
Yeah, we're with Larry Anderson, and Larry has I've known you for a couple of years now, but we've learned to tolerate each other pretty well, I think.
Oh yeah, we get along pretty good.
Yep.
No,
Man, that is just driving me crazy, that little bleep, bleep, bleep.
It seems like it's going faster. It's like a little telemetry box or something.
Oh, no. Are you running beep beeps?
No more.
I think there's a power surge in our thing here, so just hang in there because I think this is going to be a pretty good podcast. We've got dogs collared up and they got their heads hanging out. It's a pretty crappy day. It's too crappy to work, so we went bear hunting.
Yeah, I can't work in the rain and snow, but I could definitely go bear dogging in the rain and snow.
Right.
So we're just, I don't know, it's probably the bears aren't going to be moving real good, but I got a feeling if we get up above 6,000 feet, we'll get into snow, and if nothing else, maybe hopefully find an old track that we can work or something. But you never know. If you don't go, you definitely ain't gonna get them. So
yeah.
So just give her, see what happens.
You're not going to tree him sitting on the couch in the cabin, that's for sure.
No. Hopefully we don't end up with too much of a rodeo because I forgot the tire chains. It's summertime, so I wouldn't really think you'd need them. But
summertime when we're going up into the snow. It's kind of spitting snow right now.
I was up on the pass this morning. It was over 6 inches of snow, so I imagine once we get up here, we'll be into the same.
You tried to go to work.
I tried to go to work.
Yeah, you tried to go to work and just, hey, you can only do so much.
Yeah, I mean, the pass wasn't even plowed. I threw it in four-wheel to get up on top, and then I was just like, yeah.
So, yeah, how much effort did you actually give it? I mean, when a guy's a bear hunter in Idaho and kind of look for excuses not to go to work, don't you?
I always look for excuses not to go to work.
No,
especially in bear season.
We got a little gate here.
Yeah,
let me jump out and get this. Sing my song while I'm getting this gate.
Let's see here. Hopefully he knows how to open a gate. Wrong side. Yeah, he's got her going now. He's like a real cowboy opening a fence. Well, I don't know what I just ran over, but hopefully nothing important. Oh, Chris, he's like a real cowboy, opening and closing gates. Look at him go. I locked him out in the rain. Man, Chris, you're like a real cowboy.
I'm just not riding in the middle. If I was riding in the middle, I'd be like the real cowboy. That way you don't have to get the gate. Yeah. Man, I don't know what that bleeping is. Let me unhook just here just a second. Man, we're getting interference bleed over for something that's causing us a little bit of headaches here, but let's just roll with it and put up with it, I guess. So, how long you been? You've lived in Montana. You lived in Montana your whole life, right?
Yeah, born and raised Montana, northwest Montana. Yeah, finally got out of there and moved to Idaho.
Right. Yep. Why'd you move to Idaho? I think that's an interesting story.
For bears. Bear dogging. A lot more hunting opportunities. It just seems like there's a lot more freedom in Idaho than there is in Montana anymore.
You grew up there, so, we've had this discussion off the podcast, but it's hard to leave your home and move your family. And
no, it is, but sometimes you just got to do some changing, do something different, So, yeah, Montana's still good in a lot of ways, but I think for me and what Jamie and I do and like to do, it just makes more sense to be in Idaho.
Yeah.
You know, so. But yeah, just like it, enjoy it.
Yeah, I think we ought to do a little contest with this bleep, and the first person that sends us how many of these little bleeps we get in a minute, I'll send them something like a window decal or something. This is just hang in there, and See how long into the podcast this thing lasts, but daggone. I don't like it much. But yeah, I mean, you're transferring over here. You found your place in Gibbonsville, and tell me what you said about it.
Oh, it's just real pretty. There's hardly no people, and it's pretty awesome. There's no cell phone service. Can't pick up a radio station. There's nothing but beauty here. So
how are you going to keep up with your social media profile, Larry? I mean, you're a high profile guy. There's a mule deer buck.
Yeah, nice muley buck. But I gotta go to town and work, so I can check on, make sure social media is still alive. It's actually nice. I mean, you get home and relax and just sit on the porch and eat your New York steak and listen to the crick roll and
you didn't just say New York steak, did you?
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to find a ribeye around here.
Yeah. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to take seconds,
Yeah.
But no, it's just peaceful. I mean, I finally found like a place I can really call home. Like.
That's what you said that stuck with me, is I found some place I could call home.
Yeah. No, it's wicked pretty. It reminds me a lot of the little town I grew up in, Olney, Montana, about 20 miles north of Whitefish, and it's beautiful up there too. And you get, big old timber and get a lot of snow in the winter and.
That's where we broke Gary Crow.
That's where we broke Gary Crow.
Yep. We told that story in a previous podcast about breaking Gary Crow. But,
yeah, that was a wild ride.
Yep. Man, that's a crazy day anyway. I mean, it was just freaking, the ice was so bad. When you guys I was on the epic trash race, recovering dogs, and on foot, and thought, well, heck, I'm just going to walk on down to the trucks. And then I hear the side-by-sides coming with tracks on them on that. It was like a hockey rink coming down that thing.
Yeah,
you guys are fishtailing coming down the ice. The weather sucked in Swan this year.
Yeah, I know. It was rain and freeze and icy and lack of snow and no lack of wolves. It made it a pretty dang tough hunt, just pretty rugged. But that's how it goes. It's cat hunting. That's just how especially cat hunting, you're kind of in the, it's all about weather. And then when the wolves are wicked thick, you can't really just road and hope for the best, because the amount of wolves in that country is unlike probably anywhere else in the world. I mean, they're unbelievable thick.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and so this trail we're on right now is making my butthole pucker up pretty good. It's barely a 2-track road, and it's only probably a 300 or 400 foot drop off the driver's side. I've got one handle on the door handle right now.
Well, it's basically you were just driving across the rock slide.
Yeah, basically that's what we are doing, is driving across the face of a rock slide right here, which the rock is good because it gives us pretty good traction.
As long as the rocks don't slip.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go. I want to see you do that 32-point turn right there on the face of that rock slide. I'll get out up here and watch you do it, and let me get those 2 plots out of there too.
Yeah, that probably ain't gonna happen. This is one of those roads you just keep going forward and you just keep going forward because you're not gonna back up or turn around.
Exactly. Yeah, so the wolf situation in the Swan this year, I mean, we talked a little bit about it. It seems like we're always talking about wolves when we're talking to Western hunters, but, how the wolves changed hunting, and especially let's just talk about how they've changed hunting in general in the West.
Oh, yeah. Like in northwest Montana, it used to be pretty much the best of the West. I mean, we had more mountain lions and bobcat and elk all over and deer, and the whitetail deer was unbelievable. Giant whitetails. Stuff like you see that comes out of Ohio and Illinois and all that kind of country, but they're all
Indiana. Don't leave Indiana out.
They're all public land deer. Absolute giants. If you're ever in Kalispell, go to the Sportsman Ski House and see the bucks they got mounted. Those deer were not uncommon. 180-inch whitetails. just absolute giants. And I mean, it's hard to even just get an antlered buck anymore in that country. The wolves have just dominated. And you know, when I was a kid, you know, like South Fork of the Flyhead was just crawling with elk. I mean, it was amazing. And if you even hear an elk bugle or even see an elk track, you know, it's like you just hit the lottery.
Right.
You know, it's pretty poor, you know, and then you used to be able to just turn out on 2-3 old lion tracks and not even worry about it, you know, and now you find a lion track that's 20 minutes old and then you spend the next 3 hours making a loop around it and hoping the heck that wolves didn't cross into the little wood block you're trying to hunt. And because it don't take long to get dogs smashed by wolves. I mean, we turned out on a lion track that was maybe a half an hour old at the most, and dogs made it 700 yards off the road, and wolves come in and started killing dogs. And it was a pretty sad day. My buddies lost dogs. Mine made it for some reason, and you know, I hunt with my friends, and their dogs are like family to me too. So
were they lagging? Were they just lagging behind? What kind of dogs was your buddy hunting?
Cameron blue ticks.
Yeah, see, that's why, because your dogs were so far behind.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. I don't know. It's sad, you know, and you know, everybody puts all the time into these dogs, and to come up on them eaten alive like that within seconds of turning out it was a hot smoking track and brand new snow. It just had quit snowing like half hour, 40 minutes before, you know. So I mean, it was just a roaring race, you know. And then all of a sudden, wolves come in and start killing dogs, and we thought we were in the clear. There hadn't been any wolves in that area for a long time, and they moved in, like obviously during the storm or something. I don't know if we just had a head-on collision, but anyways, it's something you can't unsee. Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah, and I think that's what, you know, the whole, anybody that's not a houndsman, that's what we're trying to do here, is bring more exposure to houndsmen. And I don't think people understand how much these dogs mean to us. And I see a lot of good stuff coming out of social media now. It used to be you saw a lot of stuff that made you cringe about things guys were putting on social media, but I've seen an upswing on it. I think the hound hunting community's finally figured out that we got to change the image, and we're not putting enough stuff on there about what hounds mean to us. And I mean, how would you have felt if you'd got your dog smashed that day? I know how you feel about your dogs, Larry. I mean, you probably keep as good a care as anybody I've ever seen of your dogs, and your wife Jamie. It's a family project. How would you have felt if you'd have got dogs smashed that day?
Oh, I'd have been devastated. I was devastated just my friends losing dogs, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, we hunt together and we're all friends, and you see those same dogs growing up, doing better. So yeah, it's pretty rugged.
Yep. We're in the snow now, so we're going to be finding a bear track here. But
still, it's snowing pretty good. But hopefully there's a bear on the move someplace, so we can either rig one or find a track and a cold trail and get one up and rolling, maybe, or who knows.
You've got an old bait site that you're in up here for years, so you've hunted this. How long you hunted this country we're in right now?
About 4.
Oh, we're going to have to get the freaking chainsaw out. Get the chainsaw out. You're using it too. I offered to stop and buy a chain.
Yeah, it could cut butter with that thing. Maybe. It's pretty. I think it hit some rocks last time or something.
Yeah, it doesn't take long, man. You touch a rock with a chainsaw and it's over.
Yeah, I know. All
right, let's
sharpen them.
Let's get this thing. Listen to our beeps. Listen to our interference beeps. We'll be right back. where's my space controls?
We have liftoff, Houston.
Holy, temperatures are dropping, 34 degrees, 9 o'clock.
Yep. All right, we're back on the move. Breathing like I need to stop eating so many Twinkies or something.
Yeah, Jamie needs to quit making me so many cookies. Getting fat.
I'm glad we didn't have to cut that out of the way.
Well, I've done that one time already.
Yeah. Is that your work right there?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, the tree was so huge. I hooked on with my truck and winch, got it turned, and then, yeah, it was a nightmare.
Yeah, that sucker was like 2.5 feet across its stump.
Yeah, no.
You didn't do it with that chainsaw you got in the back. I know that.
No, I didn't do it with the little mini horse. No, I brought a real chainsaw for that deal.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, I know it's.
So tell me about this line of blue ticks you're hunting, and well, let's start out. Let's go back and talk about how you and I met, because I think that's kind of a funny story in a lot of ways. But I was talking to Gary Robertson, and Gary Robertson referred me to you. That was, what, 2.5, 3, almost 3 years ago now?
Yeah, probably
we
like
started
3 years
talking.
ago. Yeah.
And just talking blue ticks and talking hounds, and then before you know it, we're never met each other, and set up this hunt in the Swan Valley at this cabin that I found on VRBO. And we invited our wives to go, remember?
Yeah.
They're like, hell no, I'm not going. I've never met these. How do you know he's not gonna murder you up in the mountains?
Just met some guy on social media. We're gonna meet in the middle of nowhere where nobody's gonna know if something happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're like, no way. Our wives were they were smart. We're like, oh, it's a hound dogger. I'm going. Yeah. A good opportunity here.
Yeah. It's like, Lord hates a coward.
That's right. That's right.
Let's just give her.
Yeah.
Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But no, it was a.
Well, you brought backup with you, and you brought Scotty Parker, Scotty Too Hottie.
Yeah, Scotty's he's a good kid, man. He's a lot of fun to be around and hunt. He took the hounds and hound hunting like ducks to water.
He hadn't been hound hunting that long. How long? 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, 4 or 5 years. Like, he's always kind of wanted to go, but nobody would ever take him. And then I told him, I said, I'm going lion hunting. I'm going to leave at 2 in the morning. And if you're here at 2:01, you're going to miss the boat. And he was there probably 15 minutes early. And he goes, but you really left me? I said, yep. I said, if I set a time, it's a time, and then I just go.
Yeah.
So, but no, he's been a force. He definitely is into it and loves to go and loves to watch the dogs. He don't ever care to shoot anything or harvest anything.
And he's a hard charger too. I mean, he'll break trail. He'll do whatever you need him to do. And you don't need to drive. Hey, you really don't. We can move that.
Oh, I can drive around.
Oh hell, Larry!
I got another.
Don't freaking drive around that son of a gun.
I got 3 inches.
No, you don't. Get your ass back. We'll be winching this son of a bitch off this freaking mountain.
Yeah, we might be anyway.
Son of a bitch. I'm gonna have to edit that part out.
Hang on.
We'll be right back. We are still alive, and we're not out of this one yet. So this is what is exciting about hunting with Larry Henderson. So here goes the chainsaw. We're going to cut this out of the way, and then we're actually going to have to we're gonna have to winch the front of the truck back up on the road. So it's real greasy up here. Oh, here's this epic battle with the Seal MS-21 with a sloppy, dull chain. He's gonna pinch the saw. Oh, heck yeah. Move that saw back and forth. It cuts better when you're, doing the cross-cut chainsaw. Oh, he's got her. All right. So let me get off here and give him a hand. You got a pair of gloves?
Yeah.
So now we're going to run the winch out of here, putting on the gloves, and yeah.
Yeah, I need a winch cable.
Yep. Anybody time us? Yep. Well, you're trying to give me the whole Western experience right there.
Oh, you hang out with me. You're going to get a Western experience, I promise.
That wasn't bad. Not as,
Oh.
that was just another day in the life.
There's a reason to put airbags in these trucks.
There's a reason why they put seatbelts in them too.
Well, I'm not sure where we were at before I went off the mountain, but
Yeah, I don't either. But we were talking about Scotty, pulling his weight, and that's important when you're hunting in conditions like. And this is really pretty mild. I mean, it's treacherous, but I mean, it's not.
oh, it's not bad. But
No.
yeah, Scotty's he's the houndsman. Like if you're ever in a pinch and you're in trouble, he's gonna come. He's gonna get you. He's gonna find you.
Yep.
No joke. And it don't matter how big the mountain is. He'll conquer it.
Yep. That's important to have in a hunting partner.
Oh man, yeah. Like there's no doubt that he'll be there.
Yep. I've been through a few hunting partners over the years, and guys that I like hunting with a lot of different people, and there's just once you find somebody that you can depend on, you gotta foster that relationship. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But anyway, Scotty shows up at the cabin, and I'm like, who is this hippie? So he's got this beard and ponytail, and I'm like, wow, here we go. And then it was just a good time from there on out. I mean, he got out of the truck laughing, and I don't think we quit laughing until we left.
Yeah, no, he's a lot of fun to be around, and just like you look at him, he looks like you said, like this crazy hippie or something. But
Yeah.
like he doesn't do drugs, he don't drink, but he's addicted to the hounds,
He's addicted to his family too.
Yeah,
His kids, and
yeah, he's a good family man.
Yep. I mean, he's just got a lot of.
Them twin little boys, man. They're wild little guys.
Are they hunting with him yet?
No, they're big enough. They're 5, 6 maybe now. I'm sure. Like,
oh, it's coming.
Yeah, no, it's coming. They'll be going.
Yeah.
All of his girls, older girls, they've all been to trees and whatnot. But
yeah. So tell us about your family.
oh, there's just Jamie Ninebriar, a boy, he's in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, he's not a boy.
Nah, he ain't a boy no more. No,
I got to serve with some of those mountain bred Marines, and they got a different energy to them as far as the way they approach things and do things, and you can depend on them. There's nothing that they can't do, and that's what I love about this Western culture. Is you guys are remote, and just like that right there. That's what we just did, winching the truck out. That's can be a bad day for people back in my area,
right.
And for you, it's just like another day.
Yeah, it's just another day on the hill.
Yep. But those mountain bred Marines are just tough as pine knots and can go all day, and little things that are a problem to other people just don't seem like they're that big a deal.
Right. No, you grow up cutting firewood and bucking hay and fixing fence and
Yep.
digging hound dog trucks out of snow ditches and banks that you shouldn't have never been.
Like this grave we're getting ready to go up right now.
I'm not sure we'll even make it, but actually maybe I should put it in 4 low. It's kind of rugged. But it's all warm and muddy. Been raining. Now it's got 4 or 5 inches of snow on top. So
We don't have to go up here if you don't want to.
oh yeah, we'll be all right. Got insurance.
Good insurance, I hope.
Oh, yeah.
Don't want to be telling the story the day you broke Chris Powell. Yep. Oh, yeah. So we're spinning all 4 tires now.
Huh. Maybe we won't make it up the hill.
There's a trail that goes down, isn't there?
Oh, yeah. There's a good bear crossing up here, though. They like to go through, but I don't know that we're going to make it. Especially since somebody forgot the tire chains.
Yep. I took mine out when I left Indiana, I thought, I'm not going to need chains. And then I get out of here and we get into this. And just another day in Idaho at 6,000 feet.
Yeah, no joke. Yeah, we might be able to hit her a few times hard, but then we're going to have to come back down off of it after I muck it all up, so.
The going up usually doesn't. There goes a mirror. Yep. The old Tundra.
Did I break it?
No, you're good.
Cool.
It's a Larry Anderson breakaway mirror.
My wife's probably already got an extra one someplace. She buys the turn signals for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the pallet, I think. I think I changed out 6 taillights last year.
Yeah.
Backing into stuff, or my ass end sliding over and smashing into stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's talk about Jamie a little bit, because Jamie, she's just awesome. I mean, she makes sure we're fed, and
oh yeah, no,
she
feeds us too much all the time.
Yeah, everything from like the best breakfast burrito you ever tasted to huckleberry pies to.
Oh yeah, huckleberry pies are amazing, and then cookies. I mean, the best cookies ever. But man,
and not only that, but she's a nursemaid to how many puppies right now?
Well, we got 9 pups she's nursing and playing with right now, and no, she's handy. She good at sewing hounds back together and fixing and mending them, and I don't know how or why, but she puts up with me, so that's pretty cool.
And she puts up with me when I come out. She puts up with me coming out and just dragging you off, and yeah. And then she likes to hunt too. That's a cool thing.
Oh yeah, she loves to hunt. She loves to hear the dogs roar.
She killed a whale of a mule deer this last year.
Yeah, I know. She shot a Magnum, 31.5-inch mule deer, just an absolute giant.
It was a beast.
Yeah, no.
Man, it's what people dream of. Kind of deer people dream of shooting.
Oh yeah, I kind of jealous. I'll probably never get a deer like that in my lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, she did good, and we hunted hard, and I mean, definitely put the days in, but that mare's kind of bad shape. But
Can't see out of it or what?
here, I think I got it. Let's see. Oh, maybe I don't. Oh no, I got the wrong side going. Yeah, I break everything.
There we go. You're back at it now.
We're back at it. We're back.
All right. We have the space shuttle back in motion. It's wicked pretty right now, man. It's the snow's hanging off of the evergreen trees and piling up on this. What do you guys call this fence?
Jack pine.
Jack pine fence. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that you guys do out here that makes a lot of sense. I was telling you earlier, I was going to build fence like this at home just because we've got a lot of shelf rock and it's just hard to drive post or dig a hole. So let's talk about your blue ticks. You've been in? I think that's in. I hear. It seems the thing that I hate is houndsmen that they pigeonhole or they stereotype different breeds of hounds, especially hounds that they're closed-minded about the ability of dogs based on their colors. And I've seen your blue ticks in action several times, and anybody that says blue ticks can't catch game haven't hunted with the blue ticks you're hunting. So what kind of tell us a little bit about them, Larry, how you got started in blue ticks. And
Well, I mean, I always just thought they were pretty, a long time ago, but I just heard about Dennis Upson in northern Wisconsin. He runs Old Vaughn and Smoky River Dogs, and he put 40 years of his life into making bear and bobcat dogs, and so he got a couple and tried them out, and man, they worked good. And
what do you like about them?
They're cold nosed, and they're fast track dogs, and they're stay put tree dogs, honest tree dogs. Great rig dogs, wicked smart. They figure out unravel bobcat tracks and all the kitty cat games that kitty cats like to play, and they're gritty enough to stick and hold and do the things that like a bear dog needs to do. And so I've got a bunch of Dennis's dogs out here, and he kind of got me set up with Matt Turner and John Gill, and those guys all have heavy Smoky River dogs. And so, all those guys, it's hard work. I've kind of just got dogs from all of them, and the dogs I really like and have the characteristics I like. It just kind of been breeding them back and forth. I like a fast track dog, and I like a dog with a good nose and brain, and athletic dog. I want a dog that's going to be on a bear from daylight till dark if need be, and have the steam to do it all day.
Right.
And I want to be able to go catch another bear tomorrow. So, I like an athletic dog. They're kind of short-eared, long-nosed.
We may be winching ourselves out of this hole.
There's nothing to winch to here, so
I know.
Hopefully not.
Just keep it in the middle.
Yeah, keep her on the high ground, hopefully.
Yeah.
Except for there, that's a big hole. But anyway, they're probably not the houndiest looking of the blue ticks by far, but I like an athletic dog before a pretty dog,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really care about ear spread or any of that stuff. I care more about an athletic dog that suits me, but these dogs aren't going to suit everybody. Once you cut them loose, they're not going to come back and check on you. They're just going to go find something.
And they'll be there when you get there.
Yeah, they'll be there when you get there. I've had places that treed lions and stuff. I couldn't get in there and figure out how to get in there for over 24 hours, and they're still bellied up treed. The voice isn't quite there anymore, but they're still there and waiting on me. So that's good for an old fat guy.
Yeah, old fat guy.
Sometimes it takes me a minute to get there.
It takes you a minute. It takes me a lot of minutes. and I remember the reason you got to have a high energy dog is because you're a high energy houndsman. And the story I tell people a lot of times is when we were down in Springerville in the White Mountains doing that Sportsman for Heroes hunt. And remember Lolo?
Yeah.
We hooked up
the horn picker.
Yeah, the guy, like the epic horn hunter. I think he's around 60 years old.
Yeah.
And he was fit. The guy he spent every day in the mountains, and you could tell, but
yeah, he's tough as a pine knot. You could just tell.
Yeah. So we went on that. We met him. He had seen a bear, and we went. He said, "Come on down. I'll show you where it was at." And he walks us up in there, and I got separated because Mongo was. I don't remember. He was trying to get back across the road or do something. I don't know. And I got behind, and I got up halfway on that hill. Had no idea where you guys were. And so I bailed on you. You guys had 3 or 4 guys with you, so I bailed and beat it back down to the truck. I knew where that was. So we went through that thing. We didn't catch bear. on that, walked all the way through. But then later on, I mean, it wasn't 25 minutes later, and we got a rig strike, and you made another epic walk. But I remember you grabbing leashes and grabbing dogs and running down this trail to get your dogs in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, how can he be running right now?
We hiked a lot of miles that day, but no, I think, you know.
I think we did 20. I think
yeah.
you did 20 that day.
Yeah.
I probably did 12 to 15 on foot, but you did a full 20 at least.
Hiking in between canyons and stuff where
Yeah.
you can't get between roads, and trying to get into raspberry patches and get into bears that aren't getting rigged from the road, and you kind of deal, you know. But yeah, I know I am kind of hardwired, and I think my dogs definitely feed off me quite a bit because I'm kind of, I don't know, excitable, I guess.
Well, you got to be.
So
You got to be, and that's the thing. I like hunting with guys that are energetic, and you start hunting with a guy, you can feed off of that. You know,
yeah,
it's important to have positive attitudes and that no quit attitude when you're out here doing this stuff. If you get somebody that's whining and dragging around and stuff like that, it just kind of takes the wind out of everything.
yeah, no, it does. I mean, we're out in rough mountains and rough weather, and you know, you just got to have the passion and want it and be out here. And if you're having a good time, then everybody else will have a good time. If you're kind of sore about being in the slippery, crappy snow, then it just kind of feeds off everybody, you know. So,
Yeah. Yep.
it is pretty much a whiteout. You can see maybe 150 yards.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's socked in big time.
I'm thinking the bears are probably socked in too.
Yeah, they're probably hunkered in, sleeping in the snowstorm. But you never know. I mean, the rut should be still kind of going on, so there could be a boar cruising looking for a sow, or who knows.
Yeah. So tell us what's like when the rut's on out here.
Yeah, you just get a lot of bears moving, coming and going, and you'll get some bigger bears that come in, you know, from wherever they come in from, you know, the back country or maybe even out of state. It's hard to say, but you'll have your regular bears and regular bears and regular bears, and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, look at this big joker, you know, where did he come from? You know, it's kind of like the lions. You get a female that comes into heat, it's amazing. Like overnight, there's like you've been hunting the same area over and over and over and over, and there's no big toms, and then get a female or two and then boom, like overnight, there they are. Like, where'd you come from? Like, there's not a road we haven't chopped up in the last month, and there has been no sign of you. You know, now you're here, so
Yeah.
and I think that's how it works with most. You know, you see all these herds of elk, 50, 60 head, and all these little raghorns, and then as soon as the cows start coming into estrus, next thing you know, there's a couple mega bulls. Where'd they come from, you know?
Yeah.
Where they've been hiding at the whole time.
Right.
But no, it gets to be fun, and it's kind of interesting because you could have a bait, and you bait, and you got all these boars and stuff coming and going all the time, and then the elk calves start dropping and the fawns start dropping. And I don't care what I'm feeding; they just walk away and start eating fawns. I mean, they'll come back and they'll drop a scat and little elk hooves or deer hooves in it, and there's something about them, the proteins or whatever. Whatever, any kind of candy or meat scraps or whatever. They just go out and look for fawns and calves to kill.
Yeah. I think it's a biological cycle. They know what they need at different times.
Yeah, it's got to be something like that. Cause
Yeah.
I've tried to feed them as best I could feed them to keep them, hold them tight, and when that time comes, they just go.
And we've seen a few fawns, and I've seen antelope fawns, and saw an elk cow yesterday with a calf, and whitetails with does standing out with sunken inside, so you know that they just dropped a fawn somewhere, so it's probably getting right there.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of fawns and calves getting born right now. There's a pile of them. I seen a couple wobbly calves this morning. But yeah, them big boars and stuff, they're going to be out looking for some elk veal.
Right. And the thing about bear hunting in Idaho is baiting is still legal, and as long as you follow the regulations, there's pretty strict regulations around baiting in Idaho, distances off the road and different things like that. But it takes to run a bait out here, it takes some dedication.
Oh yeah, I mean, you got to pack it plenty far off a road, and it's heavy, and Idaho's steep. I mean, there's not really a whole lot of flat where you're going to be bear hunting.
Right.
It's mostly vertical feet. So, like, Idaho's a small state, but if you flattened it out and laid it across the map, I mean, the thing would be huge because the mountains are no joke. They're steep.
Yeah.
But it keeps you in shape.
It offsets the huckleberry pie and the cookies.
Oh, yeah. Well, it seems like I'm losing on the cookie thing. I'm getting a dad bod going on pretty hard.
Yeah, when you sent me your waist size for your first light gear, I was kind of like, yeah, well, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one, Larry. That might be a stretch, buddy. You better be planning on losing a couple inches, maybe.
Let's be first light skinny jeans.
Yep.
But no, it's...
So, back to your blue ticks. How many generations? How many years? Let's start out with how many years you've been hunting this line of blue ticks.
I think Jamie and I have had these dogs, this line, for about 16 years now. And before that, we tried about everything. We had plots. Well, never had plots, but we had some black and tans and some other kind of blue ticks. And we've had walker hounds and red bones and all kinds of stuff.
So have you been hound hunting since you were a kid?
No, been hound hunting for about 20 years is all.
Mm-hmm.
So still pretty wet behind the ears, but always kind of wanted to do it, but when I wanted to get into it, like, nobody would really ever want to help another houndsman. They're like, oh, we got plenty of houndsmen, we don't really need any more. So I even got a short-tailed relative that had hounds and would never even take me. And I asked him some years later, I said, why wouldn't you ever take me? He goes, I figure if you really wanted it, and it was in your heart, you'd get it going and figure it out yourself, and you've done good. So
that's kind of an interesting thought process.
Yeah.
It's kind of like youth seasons. I'm all about getting kids involved and doing these youth hunt events and doing different stuff like that. But I really feel like as a community as a whole, we're kind of missing the mark. We're setting everything up for them. I'll give you an example. We had a youth program that we started with the Hoosier Tree Dog Alliance. And you get all these people that come out and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'll be involved, and we can do all this epic stuff, and we'll get these prizes, and we'll do this, and all these volunteers are just running themselves ragged, and the kids don't have to do anything except show up."
Right. Yeah.
And so I said, we need to form a youth committee and let them learn how to do this. They need to understand the work that goes into this for what they're doing and how they, it doesn't just magically happen. There's work involved, and there's people that are invested in them, and we can mentor them, because they're eventually going to have to be the people that are doing those sort of things. And how are they going to learn it if we don't make them carry their load, during the youth events? And we'd done that a couple times, and it seemed like the kids enjoyed it more and they had more satisfaction. And now some of those kids are, in their 20s, and they're leaders in their clubs or their communities. If they stuck with hounds better than, I think the success rate, I wish somebody would do a study and see what the success rate is of the continuation, and that's just for, that's competition type hunting type stuff. But even with general hunting stuff, Dad goes out and he sets up the turkey blind, and he does the scouting, and he puts the game cameras out, and he does all these things, and then opening day comes and he's got the shooting rest set up, and really the only thing the kid has to do is show up and pull the trigger.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like out here in Idaho, though, you see a lot of dads and kids, and little kids packing bait. I mean, I don't be able to pack a whole lot, but I mean they're all putting in something.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's neat to see. Like you'll see a whole family, and they might be just bait sitters, but they're all involved, and they're all working together and doing stuff as a family. Like little kids are packing little tiny ice cream buckets of bait.
Yeah. Nobody gets a free ride.
No, and it's cool. It's cool to see that here.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a whole family tradition. And hopefully it all gets to stay.
Yeah, I think seems like I've been on this kick lately, but we talk about the pendulum of hunting in our culture, and I think we have seen it swing as far as we can. And we got us a little strike, maybe.
A little bump. I wonder.
A little bump. I don't see a track. Who was that, Jack?
That was Jack. He's pretty legit usually.
I'm surprised he outstruck my plot. Oh, he's striking on deer tracks, Larry. No, I didn't see any deer tracks. I'm just kidding.
It could be. Maybe just let me know he's still there. I don't know.
Oh, we hit this switchback. He might catch it at a different angle.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the thermals are working in this snow.
Yeah, and of course I left the trick you taught me, the wind checker. I left it in my bino harness, which is back in my truck, of course, because we were in a rush. You show up at 6:30, running around. I see you pull in the driveway and you're running around the truck. And I was like, "Did you get rained out?" Heck yeah, man! Let's go. We'll light them up.
Yeah, if I'm not working, I'm going to be in the woods, no matter how crappy the woods are. If it's raining, snow, and sleet, I don't care. I mean, if you don't go, you don't get them. That's just how it is,
Right.
Probably.
Right.
Odds are probably slim about getting anything up and rolling today, but it's way slim if I just sit at the house.
Yep.
So I got lots of days to sit at the house.
There's only one guarantee in hunting, and being a houndsman is you're not going to catch game sitting on the couch. 100%.
No, not unless you have one heck of a nice piece of property.
Just open the kennel door and watch your Garmin, right?
Yeah.
I'll just watch this. I'll watch this series of Lonesome Dove until my dogs get treed. Some of the hounds I've owned, I think you could run through the whole series and you'd never have to get up.
Yeah, I've had a few of those.
Yep.
I think we all have at some point.
Yep. How many generations have you and Jamie? How many generations of pups have you guys bred? Tell us a little bit about the no tell 'em breeding method here.
We're just, I don't know how many generations, but it's been quite a lot, I guess. Jamie could tell you. Jamie could tell you every day, every dog's birthday, and probably about the dang time they were born. Like 7:06, and that one was 7:10, and that one was 7:15, and that one didn't come out until 9 a.m. or whatever. I don't know how she remembers it all, but she never forgets a hound birthday.
She didn't write it down?
No, she just got it in her head. No, she don't. Yeah, she don't have it written down. I mean, we got papers on them all, but.
I was going to ask you about that here in a second.
But she just remembers, like, she's a numbers person. But we just breed family line of dogs, and I like breeding the Upson line into the Ellis Blue Gem line, that Nat Turner and John Gill and them guys back east have. super fast track dogs, but
we got a box shaker.
Man, I wonder which way the wind's coming out of.
We got a strike, folks.
There's got to be one here somewhere. I'm gonna probably put a couple dogs down and see what we got.
Yep.
Because it's something's going on.
What's that? What are the plot lickers doing back there?
Eating my dog box, trying to get out.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, good deal.
Yeah, let's turn a couple loose. See what we can turn up.
All right,
I
let's
don't
see what
no
we get.
tracks, but
All right, I'm going to stop the recording right here. All right, so back at it. The wind's doing weird stuff.
yeah, it's kind of in a box canyon. It's coming up and down and all around, but I'm sure we bumped a bear pretty hard right there, or a lion, but
It could be at the bottom of this canyon, the way the no tracks.
there it looked like an old snowed-in bear track right there, honestly. Right here. I mean, it's snowed way in.
Sliding off this hill here.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, look at that. I mean, that looks...
Yeah, I mean, it's way snowed in, but
Yeah, but it's probably wasn't a lot of snow up here yesterday.
no snow yesterday. It's been snowing all night. Yeah, it's either, I don't know for sure. I think it's a young bear.
Yeah. Looks like one that'll give us a run.
Oh yeah.
Little Honda 90 right there.
Hard to say how far he is.
Yeah.
It's pretty snowed in, but
We were talking about your blue ticks and the way you guys are. So what are some of the things that you breed for, Larry?
well, I like athletic ability, pretty much one of the most important. I like brains, like them, to think.
Another box shaker right there. They're catching that thing from somewhere. We only went about 150, 200 yards.
Well, let's go up around the corner. I mean, they're hitting hard, but be nice to see a track or.
Right.
I mean, that bear's definitely here someplace. Hope we can get him lined out, but
Whoa.
No,
I think it was just snow that'd fallen off a tree.
yeah, plop plop.
Yep.
No, I like a good nose, and I like athletic ability. I mean, I like running bears way more than I like lions. So I kind of breed more geared towards rigging dogs. And
How important is grit to you? So a lot of people, we talk about grit a lot. How important is it?
well, I mean, I like a gritty dog. I mean, I like a dog that's going to get in there and work. And I've put probably maybe a little more effort into the grit than I probably should have, because I'm kind of getting to the point where I think I'm just breaking the threshold of the right amount of grit. I mean, it's all fun and games, to have a lot of grit, and then your dogs are tore up, and so I think I need to back off on the grit department. I mean, I like grit. I mean, I'm a sore loser, I guess, so I like catching what I turn out on.
Right.
And if the bears aren't having a good time on the ground, they're going to find a tree.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're just back cheerleading and doing, if they're not even getting close, you'll still catch them nice, easy little bears. But if you're going to have success on bears, you need some hair pullers. You don't need cheerleaders. But so I probably have put more effort into grit than I'm kind of getting to the point where I need to kind of maybe back off a little bit.
Which dog have you got that's you would consider your grittiest dog?
Yeah, Jack, he's a little overzealous, and he's got scars all over him. But and he's usually really smart, but you get into some of this deep snow and stuff like that, and they just don't get out of the way in time. But Jack's a force. His mom, Dixie, she came from Dennis Upson. She was a wicked gritty dog, like wicked gritty. But I mean, Dennis put 40 years of his life into breeding for.
What we got
Smart.
going down? What kind of track? Deer track?
I
Snowed
think
in?
it's a snowed-in deer track there. Well, it's got to be a deer. The dogs are striking hard on it.
Yeah, look at the plots. If they're striking, then it's probably a deer.
Yeah, they're being quiet.
Trashy blue dogs.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I just my heart's in the running bears. I mean, like if you get good snow like this, I mean, you can catch lions with if you had a good poodle, you'd be catching some lions.
Right.
You know, I mean, when the snow conditions are perfect, it's pretty easy. But you know, you get weather patterns that are tough. It's nice to have a dog that can work some dirt and go across south-facing slopes that are burned off and stuff like that. So I like to keep nose, especially when I'm line guiding. I kind of, if I find a track, I need to kind of catch it for the client. So I need to be able to work dry ground and south-facing slopes and.
Yeah. And you've bear hunted from all the way out of here in Idaho. What's farthest east you've bear hunted? Wisconsin?
Yeah, Wisconsin.
Yeah. What's the difference in hunting out here and hunting in Wisconsin?
Well, here our weather's a lot nicer, and
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it.
you know it's
It is awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's cold in the morning, and it warms up in the afternoons and stuff. But like Wisconsin, you just wake up, man. It's hot, it's humid, it's flat, you know, but it's swampy. It's
got its own challenges.
Oh,
do you need a different type of dog?
No. I mean, that's where my dogs mostly came from, is Wisconsin.
Right.
But I don't know. Wisconsin's different. I mean, you gotta have a dog that likes water and swamps, but I mean, the thing is,
we got there, deer track.
Deer. You get bear scent in their nose and they just go. It doesn't really matter what country you're in.
Yeah.
If they got the heart and want the desire, they'll go.
Yeah. Looks like we're gonna be getting the chainsaw out again.
Yeah. Good thing I filled that thing up before we left.
When we get back to town, is there a steel dealer in town?
I got a file someplace. I'll find it. I'm gonna sharpen it, otherwise you're gonna keep hounding me about it.
You get the file and I'll sharpen it for you. That's how much. Yeah.
This one's a green one, so it might take a minute.
Yeah. I'll push the pause. All right. Back at it. I'm telling you what, if you don't sharpen that saw tonight, I'm just going to hand catch a beaver and put it in the truck.
Hold them down, make them chew.
Yep. Your game's up and moving around a little bit. Those are pretty fresh deer tracks there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were snowed in a little bit. But there's about, 7 or 8 inches of snow up here?
Yeah, there's probably 7-8 inches. This would be good puppy training for lion hunting.
That's what I'm looking for.
Be good puppy training for a freshy bear track.
Yeah. So will the bears stay up high in this? I mean, are they going to move low? And
Yeah, they're just wherever they are right now. I mean,
wherever they are is where they are.
yeah. I mean, they're not gonna change what they're doing.
Just for this little bit of squall.
No, I mean they're used to.
Right.
Right now they're just living where they're living. The sows are where they're at, and the birds are not far behind them. And I would imagine they're probably hunkered in somewhere, but it quit snowing, so who knows? Maybe they'll get up and cruise around looking for something to eat. I don't know.
Something to chew on.
Hard to say, but.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, my dogs, they can be a little bit rammy, a little hot. Especially if you run bear all summer, the first few lion races in the
Speaking of which,
fall are pretty interesting.
It's a deer track.
They can be pretty interesting. They can miss a lot of corners. They want to run fast to the head on the fly. And
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that adjustment from ramming bears all summer when you have to switch over to lions. What's that like?
I mean, the first couple trips is like, it's almost embarrassing. Like you don't want to, you definitely don't want to take a client out lion hunting, and they can be like, "What in tarnations are these dogs even going to catch anything.
Yeah.
Because they're all wound up tight, and they want to run, and they're looking for the action, you know. So the first couple races are always just interesting, you know. They miss a lot of corners, and it takes them 10 times long to catch a line as it should. And,
how long does it take you to get them dialed back in?
just a couple races, and then they're like, oh, it's wintertime. We're back to gearing down and slowing down and paying attention, and you know, and then they just file right back into where they were. But the first few is just, like I said, it's embarrassing. But it is what it is, you know. I mean, and they're naturally kind of hot dogs. I mean, they want to run, and that's kind of how I've kind of been working with the breeding. I want a dog that's athletic and wants to run, like really wants to go, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, first and foremost, I like catching bears more than I like lions, so I put more effort into the bear aspects than I have the lions.
Yeah. So getting back to the grit thing, it seems like that you know, you got 2 plots you're going to be hunting all summer, and it seems like grit is something that plot breeders talk a lot about. But we kind of had a conversation about, you know, east versus west, and I like your opinion on it. What do you think? What are you thinking? Let's kind of rehash that conversation a little bit.
On the amount of like this country and territory, or
Yeah.
So I think this open country, I think dogs can get a lot more speed and steam and circle a bear and work them a lot easier, per se, than places that are just wicked thick, and you know, a bear can back into a briar bush or whatever, and the dogs can't really get around. It's just a frontal kind of thing. And like out west here, I mean, we do have some thick country, but it's not thick like Wisconsin. It's not thick like, you know, the Virginia stuff, you know. I mean, I've never been out to Virginia, but I've seen videos and talked to folks out there that are real bear hunters and stuff, and I think we have it kind of made out west, because I mean, we definitely have some thick, crappy spots. But
well, I think it's like Shorty Gorms said when we recorded a podcast with him. Every place has its challenges. Every single place. I mean, here it's
wicked steep.
Yeah.
Wicked, like rock slides and shale slides. I mean, they just, you know, that's how Jack broke his foot. I mean, he was going across the shale slide on a bear, and the rock started rolling and crushed his paw and broke his foot, you know. I mean,
right.
You know, no matter where you're at, there's definitely tough conditions.
Laurel thickets in the, you know, western North Carolina mountains are a lot different than what you have here. If we get down in some of the low country, I mean, you've got some pretty thick stuff down in some of this low country, but up here high, you know, I can see 150 yards pretty, you know, see the ground 150 yards out there, and you just don't get that in North Carolina. But
right.
I guess what I'm getting at is there aren't any easy bears. There aren't any easy bears anywhere, because it's just a deal where if the bears aren't, everything's got its challenges, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah, no, most likely. I mean, most definitely. I mean, it's whether you're in steep country or just blow down jungles that dead tipped over, you know, lodgepole stands or whatever. I mean, there's always hard no matter where you go. But I think out west we're spoiled, because the dogs can really circle up a bear and work a bear and make his life not good, you know. But like in Wisconsin, man, some of that stuff is just wicked thick.
They just back into it. Same way at the laurel thicket, they back into, you know, up against a good laurel bush, and dogs basically have, you know, just a couple options to get in there to work them. And
yeah, the receiving end.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So
yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting, because I think a lot of times I've heard it said, and there's a lot of emphasis put on grit back east. you know, to the point that I'll just say it. I mean, the 2 plots I have back here are gritty, you know, but they lack some of the locating ability I'd like to see.
Right.
And I think that is just lack of exposure. Once they get some more bear races under their belt, they're super wicked smart. You know, Mike Colley's been breeding this line of plots for years, and I've been very happy with them. They've just got a lot of tools to work with, but I don't think you're going to be lacking the grit. We got another box shaker. That's kind of wrapped around the other side of where we were.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, the way these thermals are and the way the snow is, I don't really want to go hiking too far unless we get one rolling.
Right. Yeah, we need to see a track crossing this road. Neither one of us brought our gaiters. Have you got your gaiters?
I might. I probably got a couple pair because I usually got a couple pair behind the seat in case clients don't bring them or don't want them until we actually are out hunting, and then they're like, "Oh man, I see why you need gaiters."
Right. Yeah,
So,
I'll be borrowing a set.
yeah, I'm sure if I dig around in this truck, I'll find us a couple pair of gaiters.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I'm excited about them plots and give them a try and work them this summer and see how they go.
Yeah, and I'm excited to leave them out here with you because, you know, it's one of those deals, Larry. I mean, we've hunted the Swan a couple times. We hunted Springerville. We're hunting bear here now. We talk all the time. You know, I think it's important that guys make contacts. It's just it's good to have good friends, and I appreciate your friendship. I really do. I mean, I've had a blast every time I've hunted with you, and I think if I told you I wouldn't leave until August, you might cringe a little bit, but you'd be okay with it.
Yeah, no, you're more than welcome anytime. No, you're always welcome. You're a good friend and always have a good time, even if we're not catching cats because the weather's rainy and crappy. But we get out, we have a good time, and that's a huge part of hound dogging, really. I mean, just getting out with the dogs and enjoying company from a fellow houndsman and friendship and if you get something, you get something treat. It's icing on the cake. If you don't, well.
We had a great year the first year in the Swan.
Oh yeah, no, it was just the snow conditions were good and the cat movement was good. And,
it was belly button deep and cats had to move to eat and feed and then we had Scotty Too Hotty to break trail for us.
Yeah, that last cat we treated down
Holy cow.
that swamp bottom there, and we stepped in that beaver slide and. I mean, shit, we were
I disappeared.
Up to our armpits, you know, like just our heads sticking out. I mean, that would have been a cool picture if somebody would have been back, you know. It's like, look at these guys. It's just their heads sticking out of a snowbank.
Look at these idiots. Be more like it. Look at they're going in there following hounds, and they did this. They volunteered to do this.
Yep, for sure.
And if somebody told us that was our job, we'd be like, no.
I don't think so.
Nah, I'm not gonna do that.
Well, we're gonna get turned around here because like. Past this is pretty much roadless, and the one road that it does go in without tire chains. If we got a dog going that way, we'd be going all the way back to town to get a set of chains. So
yeah, like you say that real casual, like we'll be going all the way back yeah. Oh, you're saying if the truck's not stuck, if we're not stuck and burying the truck, and we've buried some stuff a couple times.
Oh, we've buried a lot of stuff and broke a lot of stuff. We buried the side-by-side of tracks twice. I mean, bad. Like the one...
Yeah, the time you about cut my head off with the winch. Yeah, that was epic. And I knew, but that was as much my fault. I knew better than to be standing where I was standing. And I knew when you took the angle you took with that winch cable, I was suspicious right then. I was like, that's a pretty steep angle to be trying to winch something out. But we really didn't have a lot of other options.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot to pick from there. It
no.
was kind of... And the crappy thing you find out later, there was two logs.
Yeah,
laying
we
there,
found them this winter.
Yeah, and there's two trees laying there, and the track was between the two trees.
Yeah,
and so it was wedged in there, but it was so much snow that you couldn't see what we were jacked up on, and This year, it's like, oh, no wonder why.
Yeah.
No wonder why it was such a pain in the butt to get it out of, and that's why we broke the cable and everything else, because we were stuck between 2 trees. But
Yeah, and then we get past that. We get up over the top, and you're like, oh man, this snow's deep. This snow's deep. I've never got this thing stuck before. But man, this snow's deep. And then we just let off the gas a little bit, and that sucker sat right down on the skid plates, and we were done.
Yeah, you get them tracked up side by side stuck. It
was an epic dig, man.
Oh yeah, no, it's for real.
How deep was that? I've got pictures of it.
I don't know. It was probably close to 5 feet, I think. I don't know for sure. It was.
We dug it all the way down till we saw grass, and
yeah, it was way bad.
And then, like you say, we hit her hard one time, and you came out of it.
Yeah, hit her hard one time.
And then we got the truck stuck last year, this past winter, up in the, I don't even remember were we up Hunts Creek?
Lion Creek.
Creek, yeah.
It's just hard because it's freezing and thawing and freezing and thawing. 50-some degrees in the day, and then gets rock hard frozen at night, and then you get those layers of crust and the ice underneath. And
that's really the only time I've ever seen you mad. When we stuck that truck, it was, and I think it was a combination of things. The dog's feet were cut up from the couple tracks we did try to run, and the weather wasn't cooperating, and just some other things going on there, and slid that truck off the road. And
yeah, we slid it off and ice centered on the bank, like the actual the shoulder, and actually I smashed my oil pan and
oh, you did?
It flattened my oil pan a little bit, and then it broke the seal, and so
I didn't realize you did all that.
Yeah, I didn't either. So I went to get my oil changed, and the guy's like, "Hey, you kind of got a shitty leak under your truck. Your oil pan's leaking pretty bad, and I'll change your oil, but I don't know how long it's going to stay in there." But luckily, I guess it was cold enough; it didn't burn up nothing. But yeah, no, I got a brand new oil pan and all that good stuff underneath here from that little adventure.
This goes back to prove my point that I always say: don't buy a used truck from a bear hunter.
Any hound dogger, man. Any hound dogger that's hunting. I mean, if you got Idaho or Montana pinstriping all over your truck, definitely don't want to be buying no truck from no hound guy.
Yeah, I'll see a rig on advertised on the internet, and I'm like, yeah, buddy, I'm staying way, way, way away from that vehicle right there.
Yeah, Duke's a hazard. They don't have nothing on a bear dogger.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I think I don't know how long we've been recording for, but you got anything you want to tell the hound world? The Houndsman XP podcast is the most listened to podcast. We're the first, the original, and the most listened to. And it kind of started when I was in Montana with you the first time. Remember we were working on it? We talked about it then.
Yeah, talking about it then. And no, it's way cool, the Houndsman podcast. And where I live, there's no cell phone service. There's no internet. I can't even pick up a country western on the radio. I can't get. And so for me, it's awesome. I just download all the podcasts and then, cook some dinner and listen to podcasts. And
you don't even have TV right now.
Yeah, there's nothing. I mean, I sit on the porch and listen to the river and listen to Houndsman XP podcast. And you've had a lot of cool people on your podcast and a lot of valuable information. It's came, I'm feeding 30-20 dog food now, and I never really gave it much thought before. I mean, dog food's dog food, as long as it's decent, your dogs aren't going to die. But you feed them, it just makes sense to feed them better food and there's a lot to learn from your podcast, and I think it's helpful for a lot of people to listen to and take the bits and pieces that you want and throw the rest out the window, But I mean, at least that information and views from other houndsmen are out there, and I think it's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I've always appreciated you and Jamie. I mean, you guys have been supporters of the podcast for a long time, and telling people about it, from ordering T-shirts to you know, your Patreon supporters now, and just I really appreciate all the support and the friendship you've given us. And you know, one thing about, I did find a book in your house, and kind of piqued my interest. I found the book called Scent by Richard Syretuck.
Right. Yeah.
Dr. Persall, and maybe Syretuck wrote Scent and the Scenting Dog, but Persall definitely was a contributor on the Scent book. Why did you pick that book up? Was that from the podcast?
I believe it was. Yeah, I've got quite a few different hound books there. You know, just to read and try to learn. You know, I've just learned on my own, and kind of a free spirit out here in the woods, and reading to learn my dogs. But I think there's knowledge out there that's being shared if we just pick it up and look and read, and maybe I think all of us houndsmen can learn something.
That's the coolest thing about doing the podcast is I get to learn. I learn stuff from every person that I go hunt with. Sometimes it's learning what not to do, but sometimes it's, know.
Yeah, that's half of it there. I mean, trial and error.
Yeah. And we make I think we make better progress on our learning when we do make some mistakes. And but I learned something from everybody I hunt with. You know, I don't care if a guy's 26 years old and he's been hunting for 10 years. You know, I've been hunting hounds for almost 40. But you can always pick something up if you're not closed-minded. And you know, there's no sense in being closed-minded in this thing.
No, there's lots to learn. Like, scenting conditions is just one of the most bizarre things, you know. Like, this winter we had a brand new lion track with a tom and a female, and you know, it was fresh snow overnight, but it was bitter cold. I mean, it was, I don't know, by -5, maybe 10, I don't know. It was cold, and the snow was squeaky, and the track was probably only like maybe 7-8 hours old. It was brand new. Like, any dog should have ran it, right? But the dogs wouldn't even look at it. We came back about 5 hours later, and it was about 30 degrees, and the dogs ran it like it just had crossed the road, you know. And, and then they had it treed in an hour, you know. I mean, but several hours earlier, they just looked at me like I was stupid, you know. Sitting conditions are just weird sometimes.
Have you got to read that book called Scent yet?
I've just barely started reading it, but I will read it from front to cover and see what I can pick up, you know, and see what I can learn. And
it really dives into the kind of biological side.
Gotcha.
You know, how it works. You know, you already knew. You came back and tried it. In your opinions, okay, so let's talk. I want to know what your opinion is of why your dogs ran that 5 hours after you originally found it, when it was like squeaky, brand new, shiny track.
Yeah, I think it was just froze down. I mean, it had some hoarfrost in it, and I think it was just froze down, just too cold, too frozen.
What'd you call it? What kind of frost?
Hoarfrost.
Are we allowed to say that on the podcast?
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I'm probably not the most politically correct, so.
We've done pretty good.
Not too.
I've got one spot I gotta edit out when you about slid us off the mountain, but other than
that was your potty mouth, not mine. But no, it's just interesting. I mean, it's just stuff that you learn over time, like.
So do you think that track was frozen in, and then once just that little bit of, was it sunny that day? I'm kind of interested.
Yeah, it cleared off. It was wicked clear, and that's why it got so cold, bitter cold. But then the sun came out and started melting the snow, and was actually kind of slushy. And the dogs just fired out of there. I mean, like shot them out of a cannon. I mean, they just fogged the track, and like I said, like an hour. I mean, boom, done, treed. You know, and in the morning, and they wouldn't even look at it.
If you read, I'm not going to spoil it. I think I've got a theory, and it's not like I'm the guru by any means. I've just cracked a book here and there and had some experience with scenting dogs and working dogs as a canine handler, stuff like that. But we'll talk about it. Read the book, and then we'll talk about your theory again and see what you think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But that's what we're trying to do with the podcast. Is, man, you don't always have to watch a YouTube video, a 2-minute video of a guy catching a bear. And I love all those videos. You know, my buddy Calvin Redhouse put some awesome videos up. And
he's a wicked videographer, man. He's way good.
Yeah, and I love it. And it's great for exposure. Yeah. But every once in a while, we got to learn why it's going on. And I think it will up your success rate, and it'll connect some dots. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, because if we come out here in trial and error, it's like we learn a lot, but man, when you can dial that in and kind of know exactly what's going to happen. You know, what if you'd have found that frozen in track and you'd have decided to spend 3 hours walking the track out and trying to get your dogs into it, and you know, you could have wasted a lot of time and a lot of energy on that. Whereas when you know what's going to happen, you're like, we'll come back and try that later. And that's all based on experience, from your vast experience of being out here and doing it at time and time again.
Yeah, my brother-in-law's with me. He's just like, we're not going to walk this track out. I'm like, we're way back here in the side-by-side. Nobody else has even been around. So we'll just keep chopping country up and see what else we can find. And then once it warms up, we'll go back and put the dogs back on. And he's just like, that don't make sense. And I'm like, it don't, but that's what we're going to do. And
right.
And we went back, and he's just like, oh, be golly, look at that.
Yeah.
He goes, it's like the line just ran across the road, and we found it at like 4 o'clock in the morning, you know, and here it is 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock in the afternoon. And you know, like I said, like an hour, man, boom, done, treed. And we ended up treating it like 100 yards off the main road. You know? Yeah. So it was like a 5-minute walk to the tree.
Those are great.
Yeah.
I want lazy bears and short running lions. That's what I like.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, and lots of them. Yeah, so I mean, you take stuff like that. Like when I started hunting, a lot of the old timers that I hunted with and stuff, they knew that sort of stuff about scenting conditions and what their dogs could run and what they couldn't run. And I guess I'm a why guy. You know, why can't they do it? And then when I went through canine training for the state, they started talking about these theories of scent, and I remembered what some of the old timers told me. And I thought, that's why. But they had found out just by trial and error, and they've put dogs on, you know, tracks like that. And back east, you know, you see a coon cross the road, and you're tempted just like, dump the box, you know, let's get a pup out. And they run around like they've never done anything in their life, losing their minds. And the old timers will tell you don't need to dump out on that track. You know, go up the road, turn around, give it a few minutes, and then you can run the track. But if you see it cross the road, 9 times out of 10, your pup's not, or an old dog is not going to be able to run it. But if you give that time, but why? The thing that I think we miss is, and I've heard even seasoned houndsmen talk about this, they think the scent comes from that foot track, and that's just not the case. It comes from their whole body. You know, it's a living organism that comes off of the body, and we have it, dogs have it, every living thing has it. Right. And when you can understand some of that, then it makes sense. And I like things to make sense. I guess I'm just hardwired that way.
Right.
So
why things work the way they do,
yeah,
for sure.
Yep. Well, hey, I don't know what else we're going to do besides record podcasts, but if we don't find a bear track.
Yeah, kind of limited without chains. It's just kind of a monkey mess up here, but
so far so good. Other than one almost slide off into the abyss of that tree would have stopped us, so.
Yeah, I think we still would have been on our side. It's all good though. I mean, it is what it is.
Yep. Well, Larry, I'm glad to be out here with you and spending some time. We're gonna have a good week of hunting. I'm glad you ditched work today to come out here and ride around, and we'll give her our best effort here.
Yeah, no, we'll just keep bouncing around and just see what we can turn up. I mean, nothing else to do besides hunt.
Yep.
I wouldn't have it any other way anyway, so.
We could do something like put new metal on your building.
That sounds like work.
I like this better too.
There'll be better days to do some metal work.
Yeah, I hear you.
Than when it's snowing and raining and stuff dripping off the roof and all that. So.
Right. Well, Larry, if we get up here and the plot lickers decide to hit a bear track, it's hard telling what you're gonna get. You're gonna have fun hunting these two dogs.
I think I will. They're easy to be around, and they're nice, kind-hearted dogs, and
they'll make.
So, yeah.
The reason I shaved my head is because I got tired of pulling my hair. So they're gonna try your patience just like every young dog will, but while I'm out here, Larry, you follow your hounds and I'll follow mine.
Sounds good.